Hello there, everybody. It's October, so you know what that means. It's spooky month. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, and fall is my favorite season. So in celebration of the month of spooks, I decided that the next couple of videos I plan on making are going to be horror themed, just for the season. The first video I have for today is something I haven't done before, a tier list. I'll be ranking horror movie icons. I was going to do movies, but I decided to do just the killers, since I haven't seen all the movies that these guys are from, so ranking them by franchise would be a little unfair. There are two conditions I'm ranking these killers on. One is how iconic they are. Would people be able to recognize them by appearance or by name? Secondly is, how likely would I be able to survive my encounter with said killer? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty big dude, but I also get scared pretty easily, so I'm not going to say I can beat up everybody. That will kind of ruin the fun of the tier list, and, I'm just going to try and keep it fair for the most part. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this ranking. And, oh, wait, hang on a second. I think I'm missing something. There we go. And here is the tier list we have. This is the only one I can find that had a good amount of horror movie icons, but not too many. There was a lot of tier lists that people have made where it would be like over 50 different characters from like literally movies, TV, games, and creepypastas. So I decided to go with this one since it's a pretty straightforward roster, and a lot of these people know, or at least somewhat know. I did make this trash / I don't know tier because I think this one here is Pumpkinhead. These last two I have no idea where they're from, but yeah. So to start this list, I think I'm going to actually go in order. I'm gonna just go from here and go down. So we got Michael Myers. Now I think Michael Myers is, he's definitely one of the most iconic. People know the name Michael, especially with the recent movies that came out, like Halloween Ends and Kills and such. I haven't seen those, but I have seen basically all the other movies, so yeah. Honestly, another thing is that Michael, I kind of want to put Michael in Gonna Die, just because Michael is apparently in the films, he is the literal incarnation of evil. In most of them. Now, in some of the movies, I know they try to delve into different ideals, like, what was it, Halloween Resurrection or some shit, where, like, they said it's a mental illness, or, like, there's another one where there was, like, a cult involved or something, I think. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen some of the Halloween movies, but I don't know, because I was gonna say, the only difference between, like, him and, like, Jason, which Jason's right there, is mainly Jason is a much more aggressive killer than Michael. Michael's more of a stalker. Like, he's much more of a like wait and just see what happens kind of guy compared to Jason, but they're both almost on the same level. I'm gonna give Michael like a little bit of an upper foot just because he is silent and he's very much deadly. He's also very iconic. Everyone knows Michael. And yeah, I feel like this Hulk of a man is literally, if I was ever to get pit against him, I probably would absolutely die. There's almost barely any escape. If he wants to kill me, he probably will. Now, next up we have is, I couldn't tell what this was at first. I actually got some of my friends to come in here real quick because I couldn't tell what these two and this one is just because of how the images are. But apparently this one's the Xenomorph, and I'm just gonna run that this is the Xenomorph since I can barely tell, and also I don't see him anywhere else or it on this list. So yeah, the Xenomorph, and honestly, this one I'm also gonna put in Gonna Die. Come on, it's probably one of the most recognizable creatures in cinema, dude. Literally, the Xenomorph is very recognizable with its head and the tongue mouth thing it has. I mean, dude, this thing is literally terrifying. The only thing that it's weak to, at least that I'm aware of, is fire. And 8 out of 10 times, you're probably not going to have a flamethrower or anything on hand to help you with that. It's also very quick, so even if you have guns, you have a good chance at shooting it, but it may be too quick, and even if you do, it literally has acid blood. So even if you shoot it, like if it's on top of you, you shoot and kill it, the blood's gonna soak onto you, and you're gonna probably die to the acid. It's a very dangerous and very scary creature. I've only seen the first Alien movie, but you know, through Dead by Daylight and through other games I've played that have had the alien in it, I know the alien well enough to say that both it's a very iconic creature from the horror genre, and it's also one of the most deadliest, and I probably will most definitely die to it. It's definitely, in my opinion, scarier than Michael. It's probably scarier than most of these other people on this list or things, but yeah, no, the Xenomorph deserves to be up there. Up next we have is Leatherface. Now, this is gonna be a third time in a row, but I'm gonna put in gonna die. Or, I don't know, maybe barely survive. Leatherface is a very interesting killer. I mean, I've seen the first 2 Texas Chainsaws, and Leatherface, even from before I've seen before I even watched the movies, Leatherface always gave me anxiety whenever I seen clips or photos of him. He's like literally a giant, like a giant child with a very deadly weapon. That's basically what he is. He literally has the mentality of almost like a 6-year-old, right? And I think that's what makes him so dangerous, because he can go into these fits, and literally the screams he makes, and I don't know, man. Leatherface has always given me the chills. Not only that, but also him wielding that big ass chainsaw, dude. Ugh, he's definitely, in my opinion, probably scarier than Michael and Jason. If we're talking about like big bulking dudes wielding weapons, like he's probably the scariest just because they chainsaw and his mentality. But again, the only reason, I don't know, I may put him in barely surviving, because while the chainsaw would definitely mess anybody up, I feel like Leatherface, because he has the mentality of a child. If you've watched the movies, you know his family very much often picks on him and talks down to him and like calls him like a shit, you know? And he kind of like whimpers, and he kind of like, again, retains back to being like a child, even though he's a full-grown man. So it kind of makes me think you can like literally, like, you can maybe trick him, or you can maybe like just like, I don't know, outsmart him with how he thinks like an animal, but that's also what makes him so dangerous. Nah, I think I'm gonna put him in gonna die. I mean, come on, let's be for real here for a second. Like, this guy, this dude is not, like, this guy, even though he isn't gonna be coming back to life like the other ones, he's still very dangerous, and he's very iconic. Like, like, literally the chainsaw dance at the end of the first movie is probably one of the most iconic moments in horror cinema. Like, literally, that movie, there's a reason why everyone knows the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Leatherface is definitely one of the most iconic and scariest villains in horror. Alright, up next, we have someone that I actually am not going to put in gonna die. I don't even think I'm going to put him in barely surviving. It's Hannibal Lecter. Now, I have seen Silence of the Lambs. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I'm just gonna put Stand My Ground, just because he's not as iconic as some of the other, because remember, I'm ranking this by how iconic they are, and if I feel like I can, like, defend myself against them. And I feel like a good amount of people know who Hannibal Lecter is, but even then, they're like, oh yeah, he's the cannibal dude, right? Like, I don't feel like he's as iconic as, like, like some of these other ones, like Chucky and Jason and such. And since, like, as far as I'm aware, Hannibal Lecter only had, like, Signs of the Lambs. I think there might be another movie or a show based off him. But even then, I don't know. I feel, since he's just a cannibal, he's almost on the same level as Leatherface. But the difference between Leatherface and him is Hannibal, literally, I'm pretty sure, is just by himself. Like, he's solo, while Leatherface has his whole family. Not only that, but also, I mean, shit, the FBI literally arrested this man, and he literally has gone to prison, so it's not like he, like, he can't be stopped. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think I would be putting up one hell of a fight if I was going up against him. He would probably try to bite my ear off or some shit, like some real, like, cannibalistic stuff, but I don't know, man. I think I can probably take him on. I mean, it'll be a little bit tough. He ain't weak, but I'm not gonna probably get by scrapping by. I think I can stand my ground. Up next we have is Pinhead. Now, Pinhead, again, the only thing I really know about Pinhead is I've seen the first movie, right? I've seen the first movie, and I've played Dead by Daylight, so I know what he's capable of, but he doesn't show up unless if you mess with a cube, right? So it's one of those situations where it's like, I mean, if I know not to mess with the cube, then I would never have to deal with him, but in the situation where if I do end up messing with the cube, I'm probably gonna die. I mean, come on now. I mean, he was that in the first movie, that guy was able, if you guys don't know, in the first movie, there's a dude who literally bought the cube off someone, used it, and Pinhead and them show up, and they essentially I think they dragged him to hell, or like they like turned him into mush, and then he was able to like get his body back slowly throughout the movie. And literally, they're like, "Oh, we never forget someone, or like, we never leave a soul behind, because they always drag the souls to hell. Whoever messes with the cube." Again, I have very little knowledge of Pinhead, but from the shit I have seen, and from just the first movie alone, I feel like you can. I mean, come on, he also has his whole squad with him too. I forgot. I think there's one dude with some mad shades, but I forgot the rest of them. But, Pinhead, I'm not going to be able to take him on. Alright, next up we have is Pennywise. Now, I'm not going to lie, off the rip, I'm just going to say barely surviving. The reason why is because Pennywise, the thing about him is, for one, he is pretty iconic, especially with, I mean, the TV movie they made about him, or about it, excuse me, with is it Tim Curry? I think so. Whoever the actor was who plays him originally, like this original photo. I mean, people knew who he was from that, but like nowadays, people know like Bill Skarsgård. Am I even saying it right? Fuck. The new It movies, like part 1 and part 2. People know Pennywise from that, and Pennywise's power is pretty scary, like him being able to turn into, essentially, he can almost turn into whatever you're afraid of. And, we see it in the movies, and stuff, and while it is scary, I'm gonna put him barely surviving, because while he can do that, I feel like he's also kind of pitiful, because if you remember, he literally got bullied. Like, a group of kids literally bullied the shit out of this man, and he literally had to go into hiding because they weren't afraid of him. And as long as you're not afraid of him, you're probably gonna be fine. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, in the moment, you're probably gonna be like, what the hell, like, you're probably gonna be scared. But if you know the weakness against him, you probably will come out on top. But since, he can take up the incarnation of what you're scared of, I'm gonna put him barely surviving, because, yeah, no, I don't know. That would be rough. Alright, up next we have is Jaws, and I'm gonna put him in weak because literally, Jaws' biggest weakness is literally it not being able to come on land. Seriously, if you want to beat the shark from Jaws, you literally just get out of the water and you're perfectly fine. Now I've only seen bits and pieces of the movie, but I mean, I'm pretty sure the shark doesn't have any abilities like it can walk on land and shit. And honestly, it's like, it's a shark. It's a shark. So it's like, yeah, if you're in the water, if you're in the middle of the ocean, you're just screwed. There's nothing you can do. But as long as you're able to get onto land, like the beach, or like as long as you're able to get on inland, you literally should be perfectly a-okay. Like this, I'm not gonna put him in trash just because he is, or it is still dangerous if you're in the water, but since, you know, its biggest weakness is it can't come on land, I'm gonna put it in weak tier. Now, next we have Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I forgot his last name, but I know it's Johnny. I mean, come on, everyone knows the Here's Johnny scene, you know, it's pretty iconic. Also, I didn't mention that too, but yeah, the shark is iconic, but it's still weak as hell, so it's staying down there. But yeah, honestly, it's been a while since I've seen The Shining, but honestly, I mean, I think what makes him scary is the fact that you can tell throughout the movie he's slowly going insane, and that's the whole thing with the hotel, is that the longer you stay in it, the more crazy you get. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't want to put him in weak just because, I mean, I think he did end up killing that one dude, but he wasn't expecting it, the dude that came to help the kid and the wife. But I am going to stand my ground, because almost on the same level as Hannibal Lecter, I just feel like Johnny, literally, Johnny got beaten by the weather, like Mother Nature. Like, if you think about it, he literally got frozen out in the middle of, like, a maze. Like, he literally lost to a maze in the snow, and he froze to death. So I don't really think, I think what makes him memorable is, you know, how crazy he ends up getting to, and he is pretty scary, but I think I mean, if we're going toe to toe, I'm pretty sure most people could take him down. I mean, he's not that tough. He's just a regular dude. Next up we have is The Exorcist. Now, I'm gonna put this chick in weak, and that's because the way you beat the Exorcist chick is literally by leaving the house. Seriously, just call your local priest and dip out, you know, just don't deal with that shit. But nah, seriously though, this one's tough, because honestly, the thing is, the demon that possesses the little girl in The Exorcist, she is scary. She's also iconic. Like, you know, everyone knows the, like, you know, I'm pretty sure she turns her head in a 360 degree in this movie. I thought I remember seeing that somewhere. You know, pukes up the green vomit. You know, it's pretty memorable. Also, some of the shots, like the guy getting out of the cab and, you know, the light beaming down on him, you know. Like, the movie is, like, you know, she is memorable, or, like, I guess the demon is. But actual powers, like, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, they can't do anything unless if they're in your body, because that's what the guy does. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the priest, like, I guess spoilers for the movie, but the guy, like, takes the demon and he gets it out of the little girl's body, the one who's doing the, the exorcism, and he puts the demon in his body, and he jumps out the window so the demon will go back to hell. So, I mean, technically one person died in the movie, but, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like they're not that dangerous as long as you're not the one getting possessed. And I mean, if you're getting possessed, you're not gonna be able to get out. You're not gonna be able to leave. Like, you're not gonna be able to get out of it. Like, you know, like, you're stuck, I'm pretty sure. Like, unless someone comes by and takes the burden for you, you are stuck. I'm gonna put them in weak. I mean, they're iconic, but at the same time, as long as you just don't mess with them and you just go mind your own business, I mean, they're not coming after you. I don't think they can come after you. I mean, maybe the demon tries to kill someone while they're possessing the body. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the demon didn't do that. I'm pretty sure it literally was just messing with the family and, like, the mother and stuff. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but that's just from what I remember. Alright, coming up is Chucky. Now, Chucky is one of my personal favorite horror icons. I think I don't know, he's pretty iconic, obviously, because he's probably the most famous, like, doll-possessed, you know, character in movies. Like, you know, like, I mean, I guess the only other one's Annabelle, but Annabelle doesn't really move or anything. It's just the demon possessing Annabelle. While Chucky, no, I think it was Charles Lee Ray, I think his name is in the movies. You know, like, he literally does some voodoo shit and literally puts his soul in Chucky. And honestly, man, I think Chucky, I'm probably just gonna put Chucky here, stand my ground. Chucky is iconic, everyone knows Chucky. You know, he's pretty funny too, especially later on in the movies. Like, once they get into some of the more ridiculous movies, like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, he gets, like, in 1 through 3, he's serious, but, like, he makes some jokes here and there. But once he gets the bride, it's, like, pushing over the limit. Like, there's, like, literally, Chucky's, like, having sex with, like, Tiffany and, like, smoking joints and shit. Like, it gets kind of goofy. But, okay, here's the thing, right? Chucky is dangerous because, you know, he's a doll. And if you are a rational person, you're not gonna expect the doll is the one killing people. And I would say Chucky may be, unless if Chucky sneaks attacks you, you are not going to be able, like, I mean, come on. If Chucky literally attacks you head on, you should be more than well, like, if he's charging at you with a knife, you can literally just drop kick him, right? Like, you literally can just kick the shit out of him and lock him in a box and, like, throw him in a furnace, right? Like, he's not that bad to take on, I'm pretty sure. Like, he literally, since he's literally 2 feet tall, he's weak as hell. He's probably the weakest character in this entire, like, roster, I'm pretty sure, since he's literally just a doll. The only thing he has up his sleeves is that he is fast, and also, since he's in a doll, you know, you wouldn't be looking out for him. So I'm probably gonna leave him and stand my ground, since it's unpredictable. You know, if you don't know you're going up against a doll, you might get screwed up. Like, he might be able to have the jump on you, but since of his size and stature, it should be pretty easy to take him down. But I'm gonna put him and stand my ground. And he's also super iconic. Like, everyone knows Chucky. Next up we have is, I forgot what her name is. The chick from The Ring. I want to say, like, Sudoku or something, I thought, or I'm trying to think of the Dead by Daylight chapter name. Like, it's something like that. Saruko or something. Oh, man, I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. You know what? I'm gonna look it up real quick. Hang on a second. Alright, here it is. Sadako Yamamura. I hope I said that right. Probably not. But yeah, the chick from The Ring. I had to look that up. The chick from The Ring. Yeah, no. Fuck that. She's gonna go up and gonna die, because I'm pretty sure there's no way you can fight her. Like, if we're being serious here, like, you know, I guess, I don't know what happens if you don't pick up the phone. Like, if you don't pick up the phone, I mean, maybe she just goes away. I highly doubt it. But I feel like, you know, obviously you get a call, she says 7 days. I think that's the scariest part. Not just she comes out of the TV, but also the fact that, you know you're gonna die in a week. Like, literally, you have a death date, and you literally, like, can't do anything about it. I've only seen the first one, and let me be clear, it was the American version, like The Ring, not the original Japanese version. And I know people who said they both have differences, which I bet, but from what I've seen and heard, yeah, hell no, I am not escaping this ghost lady. She is going to literally destroy me. Um, Also, as a kid, I was terrified of her, man. When I was like 10 and like flipping through the channels, and like I think it was AMC, they had their Halloween like marathon or something. I don't know if they do it anymore, but like The Ring would be one of them, and I would see the scene at the end of the American version where she climbs out of the TV and the guy trips over. That shit used to terrify me, man. That shit was scary as hell. But, yeah, no, I'm gonna die, and she's iconic. Literally, long black hair, white dress, yeah, everyone knows who she is. They immediately think The Ring, and yeah, no, she is staying up there. Next up, we got is Candyman, and not gonna lie, I'm gonna put him in I don't know, because I actually did not see he was on here, and I know of him, but I don't know his weaknesses, and I don't know much about him. I just know he's a guy with a hook with a bunch of bees on him. So yeah, Candyman, one day I may watch your movie, but as of right now, you're staying down there. And next up we have is Jeepers Creepers. Now, I'm actually gonna put him in Barely Survive. I may put him there. I don't know. The problem is he's not, I would say Jeepers Creepers is not that iconic. I feel like you're gonna have to, like, dig deep to be able to know Jeepers Creepers, man. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're looking, like, when you look up horror movies on like Google or something, like, or if you're a first time horror movie watcher, you watch the most basic level horror movies like Friday the 13th, Halloween, maybe Child's Play or something, like some of these movies, Scream, Saw, and like that's what the basic level. I feel like Jeepers Creepers is like tier 2 or 3 of horror movies. Like, I feel like not everyone has seen it, and I feel like unless if you're a real big horror movie fan, you're gonna know who the creeper is. But powers, dude, I still don't know what the hell the creeper is, man. He's like, this dude, I think his power is scary. So for those of you who don't know, it almost has the shape or the body of a human, but like he has scales, and he has wings, and he like also has this big truck, and he uses axes, like an axe as a weapon, and essentially what his whole goal is, like, he kills people, and then like he eats them, and he gains the body part he ate. So like I think there's a scene where like he loses an eye or some shit, and then either in the first or second one, I've seen both. I've seen 1 and 2, and like he eats somebody's eye, and he gains his eye back, and it's like just it's creative, but it's also terrifying, because literally it's like if he lost his arm, he literally could chop your arm off, eat it, and then just regrow his back. It's creative, but it's also just crazy. I mean, he has been killed. It takes a lot of power to kill this thing, though. Like, I think in the second movie, I guess spoilers, but I think in the second movie, I don't know if they necessarily kill him. I think he's only hibernating. But, yeah, no, he is strong as hell. People have survived, though. People have survived. In the first movie, there were people that survived. The second movie, people survived. If he's hunting specifically you down, you're kind of screwed. But I feel like there are ways you can fight back against it. It's not going to be easy, but I am going to put him in barely surviving, just because while you can argue that he's stronger than Michael and Leatherface, he's just not as iconic as them. And also, people have been able to survive from, I guess you can argue there's a lot of people in this list that have been able to survive from these killers, but I don't know. I'm going to put him in barely surviving. Up next we have is... I almost said Norman Reedus. No, not that Norman. I'm talking about Norman Bates. And I'm just going to say right now, he is weak as hell. I've seen the original Psycho. I think there might be a TV show about Norman Bates, but I haven't watched it. And I haven't seen the movie in years. I haven't seen it since my film studies class. And from what I remember, he might have killed more than one person, but I think he literally just, obviously the most iconic scene. I think he is pretty iconic. No. I don't think Norman Bates is iconic. I think the scene of him dressed as his mother is iconic. You know, the you know, I don't even need to play the clip. Y'all know what I'm talking about. In the shower and the scream and stuff. Like, everyone knows, like, you know, the scene from Psycho. But Norman Bates himself, he's kind of weak. Like, literally at the end, when, like, they find out, like, you know, I mean, I already spoiled that he dressed up as his mom, so, you know, I guess just spoilers for all these movies. You know, when, like, I think it's either the sister of the chick who showed up at the hotel, or someone literally walks into, like, a back room and sees, like, his mom, but when she turned the chair around, his mom's been dead for, like, a while, and he runs in dressed up as her, and as he's about to attack the chick, a guy runs up from behind and grabs him and grabs his, like, hand, and literally they're able to arrest him. He only has one kill as far as I'm aware, and he's also weak as hell. Like, one dude literally was able to take him down. While I'm pretty sure you can put in Stand My Ground, since he does have a deceiving personality. Like, you know, he comes off, I remember him coming off, like, as a normal dude, like, trustworthy. Like, if you know nothing about Psycho going in, you probably would trust the dude. But since at this point everyone knows Psycho, I think everyone knows the twist by now. And, you know, it's just one of those things where I think the scene in the bathroom's iconic, but I don't think he is. And also, he's just a regular dude, so I think he's just weak. But yeah. Next up we have is Cujo. I haven't seen the movie. I mean, I've seen clips, but I don't know if I should put it in like, I don't know, or weak. I mean, it's a dog. I know it has rabies. Again, if you're a Stephen King buff, you're gonna know who Cujo is. If not, then you may not know. It's a dog that gets rabies and kills people. I would imagine if you have a gun, you can easily put this thing down. I don't know if it's fair if I put it in weak. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know what? I don't know if this is cheating, but from what I've seen, I'm going to put Cujo in weak. He's a dog with rabies. He is scary. Don't get me wrong, but since it's literally just a dog, if you have a gun, I'm going to feel so stupid if, like, in the movie there's a scene where a guy has a shotgun and still misses. But, you know, if you have a gun, I would imagine you can easily just shoot. Since how big the dog is, I would imagine you would be able to put the dog down pretty quickly, so I'm just gonna put him in weak. This kid, oh man, what's the movie called? I know who this kid is. I've seen him at, like, you know, Spirit Halloween and shit. I just don't know the movie. I think it's called Trick or Treat. I haven't seen it. I should probably watch it. I should probably watch all these movies. I don't know what this is. My friend said it's a human centipede, but this is from The Omen. I'm pretty sure this is Pumpkinhead. I've seen this fucker before, but yeah. Alright, the rest of these shouldn't be that bad. Next one we have is Freddy Krueger. And Freddy, I think I'm gonna put Freddy in... I'm trying to think. You know what? For now, I'm gonna put him in barely surviving, because the thing is that I think Freddy Krueger is iconic. He's up there with, like, Michael and Jason and stuff. Freddy Krueger is definitely iconic. The thing about Freddy Krueger, though, is he has the same weakness as Pennywise, in the sense of, I'm pretty sure, like, okay, because the thing is, he doesn't at first physically get you. He has to get you through your dreams, right? And I think it's pretty creative how, you know, Wes Craven made him. Like, I think it's definitely a unique idea for a killer, for them to come after you in your dreams, since literally everyone, like, everyone sleeps, like, everyone dreams at some point. So to have a nightmare that literally can kill you, it's very terrifying. But the problem with Freddy is that, you know, once you realize the weakness to Freddy is that if you're not afraid of him, I'm pretty sure he loses his power, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's how Freddy works, because I've seen the first movie. I don't remember if I've seen the other ones, but I know I've seen clips of like Freddy and kind of like Chucky, where like later on in the movies, Freddy gets kind of goofy a little bit, like does some goofy stuff. But I'm pretty sure like I don't know, like if you're just not scared of Freddy and you like tell him to back off, I think he loses his power. So uh, I don't know. I honestly feel the same way about both Pennywise and Freddy Krueger. They're both kind of on the same level in my mind. I think like they're both iconic. Like people, I think they're on the same level. People know both of them, and I think, you know, Freddy definitely deserves to be in that spot. I mean, it's no wonder that Freddy and Jason literally squared off, man. They're some of the most iconic, you know, horror villains ever. You know, people know who they are. And speaking of horror villains, we got Jason. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take, but I'm actually going to put Jason in Gonna Die. Because here's the thing, right? This man has gone through a whole ass arc. Like, this dude, through his movies, he's gone through some of the most wackiest shit you can imagine, right? Because, like, you know, he wasn't even in the first one. That'll be the next person. You know, he was in the second one. You know, and then 2, 3, and 4, you know, like, people kept fucking him up, and he would die temporarily, but then he'll come back, until finally, I think Tommy Jarvis kills him in the 4th one. He's not in the 5th one, and then 6, he literally, Tommy, accidentally, being an idiot, literally brought Jason back to life as a zombie, and 6, 7, 8, man, how many of them are there? I think Jason X is technically 10, right? Wait, 6... 7. Wait, am I stupid? Hold on, wait. Friday. How many fucking Friday the 13th movies are there? Okay, here we go. Okay, I had to look up how many Friday movies, because I straight up forgot about Jason Goes to Hell. I'm not even gonna cap. Yeah, so for like 4 or 5 movies, I guess technically 4. Jason is like a freaking zombie, right? And he also gains like teleportation, and you know, in Jason Goes to Hell, he turns into a freaking worm where he can go inside like different people. And in Jason X, he gets cybernetics. Jason has just gone through the most insane, wacky shit throughout the years, like some shit that you would see in a cartoon character, you know. And I just feel like Jason, like, no matter where he goes, what he does, when, literally Jason just can kill almost everybody, right? And I think also Jason is probably arguably the most iconic horror character ever. Like, no question. Like, while I have my personal bias towards other horror icons, I think literally Jason is the horror icon. The hockey mask is literally, everyone knows. Once you see a hockey mask on someone, you know they're playing as Jason. You know, it's so iconic that I would say most people don't even know that originally he had the freaking potato mask in the second movie, because, you know, he doesn't get it till the 3rd movie. But the hockey mask is so iconic because everyone knows who Jason is. And, you know, and since Jason, I would say, you know, I mean, I guess in 2, 3, and 4, he's not immortal. He doesn't have, the only power he really has is just, he's really strong. But then once he comes back to life, you know, I feel like he gains some sort of teleportation. He also is just, he literally can resist. Like, he's been caught on fire. He's drowned. Literally, he's got nails shot at him. He's been hung. Like, Jason has gone through some of the most, like, crazy shit, and he still survived. So, I'm gonna put in You're Gonna Die. Just like Michael, he's gonna hunt you down, and there is almost nothing you can do besides trying to get away from Crystal Lake if you can, because he will find you. Now, up next we have is Jason's mother. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna just put and stand my ground, because obviously her son is way more powerful than she is. And, you know, Jason's mom, literally, she's just a normal chick. You know, she doesn't have any powers. She doesn't come back to life. She's just a mom who literally went crazy because her kid literally drowned because of the people who were running the camp, right? Like, she, I guess, thought she was doing what she thought was right. She was getting, like, revenge for her son. You know, she ended up getting fucked herself because of it. But, I mean, you know, and while everybody else died in the first one because of her, like, while she was able to take them all out, I mean, she has crazy juice. She's almost, like, I would say she's almost on the same level as Johnny, you know? Like, they're both just crazy people just trying to go after others, right? So I think she just goes and stands my ground. She's not weak, but I'm just gonna leave her right there. Now, these last two are very interesting, right? So we got Ghostface. Now, Ghostface, I feel... See, here's the thing about Ghostface, right? I want to put him in stand my ground, because the thing about Ghostface is, while... I don't know, man, because the thing about him is that him and Jigsaw actually have a lot in common, in the sense of multiple different people can take up the mantle and become, like, Ghostface or Jigsaw, right? Like, if you've seen the Scream movies, you know, like, every movie has a different person who's the killer. And it's because Ghostface literally can be anybody. As long as you get a voice changer, the costume, and a knife, you literally can just be Ghostface. And I know in the new movie, I haven't seen Scream 6, but I know there's, like, a Ghostface cult. Literally, that idea, I was just talking about how multiple people can take up the mask. I think that's what makes him much more dangerous, since not only is it kind of like he's a meta character, since, you know, they know they're in a horror movie, kind of, like, they reference it a lot, but also Ghostface can get pretty bloody. I kind of want, I don't know, I kind of want to put him in stand my ground, because he does get, if you watch the movies, dude, Ghostface gets fucked up pretty constantly. Like, he actually gets his ass kicked. It's kind of sad. Like, it's also really funny, because, like, I remember in the first movie, like, that chick in the garage, like, throws beer bottles at him and beats the shit out of him. And I think there's another one where, like, he slips on a carpet and does, like, a backflip like a cartoon character. It's really goofy, but it's funny. I think I'm going to put him in Barely Surviving. And the reason why I'm going to put him in Barely Surviving, right? I think it's because since usually Ghostface is either multiple people, I think in most of the movies it's more than just one person who's Ghostface. Since it's multiple people, you have more chances to die to Ghostface. Not only that, but Ghostface kind of does have a supernatural power, which is he can teleport. Like, I know, like, Ghostface is very sneaky, and obviously, like, I don't think it's confirmed that he's able to teleport, but I'm gonna just, you know, it seems like he does. He literally can get around so quick, you know, so I'm gonna put him in Barely Surviving. Last one we got is Jigsaw. Now, this might be a hot take, I don't know, but I'm gonna put Jigsaw in Gonna Die, because here's the thing, right? Here's my personal bias. The Saw series is one of my favorite, like, horror series of all time. The first Saw movie is my favorite horror movie of all time. And I also really like the character of John Kramer. Now, the thing is iconic. Saw is iconic. The thing, though, is that people don't see Tobin Bell. Unless you've watched, like, a lot of the movies, because now they're on, what, like, 10? Like, literally 10 came out last week, so literally, like, we're on the 10th movie. Saw, I mean, Tobin Bell, if you watch, like, all of them, you know that he is Jigsaw. But if you don't watch the movies, you know at least Billy the Puppet, right? Billy the Puppet and the iconic laugh. Some of the traps might also be iconic, too, like the reverse bear trap, the shotgun carousel, you know, the needle pit. Like, there's a lot of different things that make Saw iconic and memorable. But also, I think the fear factor, the reason why I would die in a trap is it really depends on who's setting up the the trap, right? Because the thing is that if it's John Kramer setting up the trap, I am like I'm like, okay, at that point, I'm like 50% confident I can get out of it, right? Because he usually makes his traps very fair, and if you actually escape out of them, he actually lets you go. But if it's Amanda, if it's Hoffman, if it's anybody else but John, those traps are rigged for you to die, and you have no way of getting out. And here's the thing, right? Comparing him or comparing Saw to like Jason or Michael, usually with them, they just stab you and that's about it, or even just cut off your head, right? And while that's painful, I cannot imagine going through something like the reverse bear trap or like the reverse fly trap, right? Like that shit just looks utterly painful. And I think like I don't know, just watching the movies, like you just if you put yourself in the shoes of the people who are going through the traps, you can just imagine, like, you're probably like, I would never be able to do that to myself, you know, because some of them, you may have to cut off a body part, or you might have to do something, you're gonna, like, break your fingers, or, depending on what the trap is, there's different, you might not even be the one in the trap, you might have to make a choice on, like, who to save and who gets to die, right? Like, in the third one, where Jeff literally chose if he wants to save people in the traps, or if he wants to, like, you know, just let them die. But yeah, no, yeah, it's all, yeah, definitely iconic, and definitely I will absolutely die to them. And that was the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want me to rank more horror-themed stuff, just let me know in the comments below. I plan on making a couple more videos for this Halloween, so if you're interested in seeing what I'm cooking, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll get notified. And with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.